Tapu, I honor the divine within you. My name is MaShiAat Oloya, and I'd like to welcome you to Walking in the Know. Today, our topic is about ritual cleansings. This is something that tends to come up quite often with my clients, especially the clients who do spiritual interaction, different forms of divination, tarot reading, from all spectrum via Wicca, Yoruba, Voodoo, the Kemetic tradition. And also people who interact daily with a lot of people in your workplace or people coming in and out of your homes. I live in a communal atmosphere, so we are constantly cleansing our space. And one of the things that we forget to do, especially as spiritualists, is cleanse ourselves after each person that we deal with and that we talk to. Even a handshake, sometimes the energy is pulled and exchanged between people, and it doesn't have to be icky or nasty or bad or negative, but it's not yours, and it sets your energy off, even slightly. Sometimes it can make you sad, sometimes it can make you too giddy. You ever are around somebody very bubbly and your energy is kind of mild, and when you leave them you're just like, bubbly Buffy, and that's not who you are, that's not your energy. What do you do to ground yourself? Well, one of the things that I tell everybody is grounding yourself does not necessarily mean bringing yourself down. It depends on who you are. For example, I'm an Aquarian to the max. So me wearing hematite is going to depress me. It's not going to ground me, it's going to depress me. I have to ground in the air because I'm an air person. And as flighty as I may be, and I can be very flighty, and as top heavy in the mind, always thinking, always dreaming, always manifesting, I still have to take my grounding in the air. So what do I as an Aquarian use for grounding? I may use incense. I may use gemstones that have air and fire, because when I ground with something that is too earthy, I lose my character. It gets bogged down, it becomes very heavy. So one of the things that we really have to be cautious about is grounding in our proper element. If you're a Sagittarius and you deal with a lot of fire, then you don't want to ground in a lot of fire. You don't want to ground in a lot of air. You want to bring that energy to something that is going to bring you to a mellow, even, harmonious state. Not pull you completely down or pull you way out of your element. Water signs are the hardest to ground because every water sign deals with an abundance of emotion. Our water signs are Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. Pisces is the hardest to ground because Pisces are very, very emotional. And this is not a negative thing. I get accused of calling Pisces negative. I have a son that's a Pisces and he's very emotional, and I'm an air sign, so we tend to clash. I try to explain to people that we have to learn to accept each other unconditionally, but we have to know each other too. So for Pisces, who are very emotional, meaning they take things so to heart, which is a beautiful thing because they feel, whereas air signs have sometimes a hard time feeling the compassion that needs to be pulled out. They feel so much that they have empathy for the person to a point where they take it in and carry it home. It's heavy. And so their emotions for whatever they're going through, plus the emotions of the girl in the grocery store who was crying about something, and then whatever's going on at work, and their best friend called them and told them what's going on, and that person that called them and told them what's going on could have just been venting, but the Pisces takes it in so to heart. How can they help? They allow it to bring them down, and it becomes a heavy burden. What do you do to clear and cleanse that energy, to bring yourself back to your harmonious point? What gemstones will work for you? Actually, fire gemstones would work. Not necessarily earth gemstones. because sometimes they pull you down. Although agate is a very good gemstone for a Pisces. You want to stay away from water because you're already very emotional. And that even means going out to the ocean. Sometimes you can become so burdened with emotions. You go out to the ocean and she sees you and you're crying and you're feeling good and you're letting go, and she's saying, come mother, come daughter, come to me child. And next thing you know, you're in the water knee deep. Hopefully you realize that and pull yourself out. I truly believe, and there was a friend of mine who did some research on this, that a lot of people who are water signs tend to drown in water, not because they're trying to commit suicide, but because they are so full of that energy, and that energy is so cleansing and clearing that they actually bond with the water. Once they cleanse themselves, they become the water, and next thing you know, they're in the water and they don't realize what's going on, because the mother of the energy of the water is calling to them. Okay, so Pisces, you want to use energy like fire. You want to use energy like air to help ground you. Earth energy will help ground you as well, but you want to make sure it's not too heavy. Even though hematite does work well with Pisces when they are dealing with somebody else's emotions. When you're dealing with your own, look at fire. Look at a different way to consume and bring that to you. Scorpios. Scorpios, very passionate, but they house anger in a way that no other sign does. And what do you do with that? Scorpio and fire energy can be way too hot sometimes, depending on where those emotions are going. So you want to use air energy and you want to use earth energy to help ground you. But for any and everybody, the one thing that you can do, regardless to where your moon or your sun sign is, what energy you carry most with you, whether it be female energy, or Mali energy, masculine energy, the one thing that you can do to bring you instantly to a harmonious level is to take a milk and honey bath. And the sweetness of the honey with the grounding properties of the milk will help cleanse the anxiety away. And even though I don't have time to get into that, I am going to talk about that in another show, where we talk about how to make a milk and honey bath. The most important thing is to remember that sage does not always feed all the energy. Sometimes you need citrus. So for those who can ground in sage and cleanse and purify their house, which we use a lot of sage to cleanse and purify our house, that's great. But also remember that boiling some oranges and lemons and allowing that to simmer and that scent to go through the house, and then taking the water from that and pouring it down your drains, flushing it down the toilet, pouring it in the sink, putting some in your bath water, especially if you have children, washing your hair with it, will give you an instant form of peace and happiness. You can add lang lang to that to bring joy, or lemongrass to help bring a harmonious blend to your atmosphere, your element, your earth, with your earth body. You can put petitgrain, which is a little peppery, to bring the energy up in the house, but also the petitgrain dispels a lot of negative energy, or energy that was very high focused or high voltage energy in your home. There are lots of little things that you can do. Bringing fresh cut flowers in your house, wearing fresh cut flowers on your body will a lot of times help when you're meeting someone new, when you're afraid to go in a situation. Just having that energy, that earth energy with you. Remember to cleanse and purify yourself, mind, body, and spirit, mentally and physically, every day. Do not take that energy to bed with you. Thank you very much. We're going to continue this on another show, and we're going to talk about ritual baths on that show. Have a blessed day.